like let's say the ocean.
There you go.
And you start looking far away.
You're giving me chills, man.
You're looking for the ocean to turn this way, but what about this way?
Exactly.
I mean,
You're giving me chills, man. I'm not even lying.
Out there is miles from this end to this
Yeah,
end.
you know already.
It's 20, 30, 40 miles.
Exactly. Exactly. So here's the curvature formula. I do have it with me. So they tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,159 miles because NASA claims to have satellites orbiting the Earth. So they need to know the radius of orbit. So these are the numbers. So it doesn't matter what numbers they give us. Water is always level. It's not even going to show an inch of curvature because water doesn't bend. That's what, water, that's what we use these in construction to make sure things are flat or level. Flat, it's a misrepresentation because flat just means a surface that's smooth with no bumps or indents. Earth has orientation, so level means there's orientation. So the Earth is not flat, it's level because it has orientation.
So what shape is the Earth?
It's level. Now, as a whole, you're talking about like the whole thing. It's impossible to know because Earth is a contained system, so Earth is like a terrarium.
So
we don't know what's outside of it because we're
like
contained, basically.
It's like this, like this from the top.
Oh, I have the flat Earth map that they try to push, and again, this is a psyop as well, and I'm gonna tell you why.
What about the rest of the planets?
The planets here, I actually.
Do we not know?
Yeah.
They're just
so
lights.
these are the stars that are supposedly trillions of light years away,
and
these are the planets. They're just lights, like the stars. No, they're just lights. Nobody knows what they are.
They do CGI to make them look
exactly. Man, you already know.
That's why they call them images.
Exactly.
They don't tell you it's a picture.
Exactly. They call them images. You know what? Let me. I forgot to put this.
I cannot come out on.
Okay. I'll start this one after you guys leave then.
I've already.
Yeah, no worries.
I've already been chased by them.
No, believe it or not. Oh, if you guys check my last live stream,
if I can tell you,
I have. You know how you can have a chat box in your screen that shows the comments from the live stream. If you check my last live stream, like halfway through the video, they hacked it and they switched all the comments that people were actually commenting, and they were just basically talking shit to me, talking shit to everybody. Basically just trying to discourage new people that are looking into this when they look at comments. It's that channel right there in the front. Yeah, you can look it up. But yeah, the last live I did, they hacked the chat, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it next time.
What's inspiring you to spend
my time doing this?
Time
It's because I was a die-hard believer in outer space, first of all. So I fantasize about outer space and aliens and all this. That's all I think about, right? So coming to this realization basically burst that bubble from me completely and basically brought me back to reality. And the fact is, nobody knows what this place actually is. So they take advantage of that fact. And any religion takes advantage of that fact, exactly, that nobody knows what this place actually is. So any story that they come up with, if anybody believes it, you already fell into a trap because nobody knows what this place is, period. All we know...
What's the end goal?
The end goal is
do we need to raise enough money to see what's out or no?
No. So we don't need to go to space to figure this out, because water shows us that. Again, if we could see the curvature...
You just told us we don't know the shape of the Earth.
No. The surface of the Earth is a level plane. What's underneath or how does it look as a whole, we can't go outside of it to see that. We can only go so high, put it that way. 20 miles is the limit. Have you guys...
Around the Earth is the ice?
That's what they claim. I don't go with any models. Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys the map. So I don't go with this model. This is the model that they try to push on us.
How does gravity work?
I'm glad you brought that up. So gravity...
Density? You're just standing.
No. So they claim gravity. It has to be gravity. So in order for an object to have motion, there needs to be pressure, right? And they claim that gravity is that pressure. Cool. I don't know if you guys knew, a force only exists through pressure variance. So something pressing on something else, like air pressure, the combustion engine on your car.
Anything that's heavier than air.
No. You're talking about, you're going a step forward. Density and buoyancy. You can't have density and buoyancy without pressure. So the question is, what's creating the pressure on Earth, right? They tell us it's gravity's pulling force of the Earth, but in reality, it's the pushing force of the Earth. So the Earth is in constant motion, pressing up against Earth.
If you're pushing, you also have to be...
So when you let something drop...
Wait, you're pushing, you have to also be pulling.
No. So when you pull, like a rope, for example, pull is a description of direction, like something coming towards you.
So two pushing then. Two pushing forces.
So basically, only pushing forces exist when something's in contact with something else to move it. I cannot move that without touching it, like pulling it. I can't pull it like this.
What is this doing? Pushing into you? Just two pushing then.
Just two pushings, exactly.
So you're saying that we're falling through space right now?
No. If anything, we're just floating, if anything, and the Earth is pressing up against us. That's what gravity is.
He doesn't know what's holding us up.
No, yeah, the Earth, what's
Yeah,
outside of it,
it's
I don't
God.
know. I think the Earth is more like it's fixed, so it's on some kind of track, if you
God
ask
usually
me.
God is holding us.
push motion if we're not just floating through space going straight
That's the
down.
thing, we don't know what's outside of the Earth. We can only speculate, exactly, yeah. So based on physics, so I don't know if you guys have heard of the Newton's law of mass attracting mass, right? I don't know if you guys heard of the new theory, the modern theory of relativity, which Einstein came up with. The reason Einstein came up with that new theory of relativity, which is taught in school now, is because he debunked the fact that objects don't accelerate down. And the reason why he did that is because when you release an object in free fall, there is zero pressure within that object. So for example, you know how there's measuring devices to measure the pressure when you go into deep water? You can measure the pressure the deeper you go, right? If you were to have like a tank floating in air, like with a helicopter, right? And you put one of these devices to measure the pressure, as soon as that tank is released in free fall, that pressure vanishes. So there's nothing pressing against it.
So look,
It floats?
look, you asked
So
about
it appears to fall, but that's because the Earth is coming in contact
you
with
asked
it.
about
Everything's in motion right now.
The
So
Earth is coming in contact with
the Earth is in constant motion right now.
So look.
Wait, hold on.
You asked
The
about
Earth-
gravity.
Wait, hold on.
That's what the theory of relativity tries to explain from a globe
then you're-
perspective. That the Earth is
Your
rising up
mind
to
is not
objects.
going to try to debunk everything.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
understand. It's
I
not
know.
any question.
Exactly.
But your mind's
You're
going to
wrong.
try to debunk it. Your
Yeah.
mind's going to try to do it because it's trained to do that.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, you're crazy.
So, well, that's like saying this. That's like saying, "Oh, let me just believe it."
No,
No,
I
no,
have
no,
to
no.
do that.
Open your
Understand
eyes.
physics. Understand
You gotta-
physics.
you gotta
Water's
have-
going to be the
you gotta,
key.
You got to do it open-minded.
So,
Go into this, I don't know. Don't go into this,
You said-
it's a ball.
you
It's,
said-
I don't know. And then
no.
that's
yeah,
gonna
but
help you.
I'm saying it's from my
Let's
understanding of
see if
physics.
it's true.
You're
Yeah.
saying the Earth's coming into contact with it, not in coming into contact with the Earth. So,
Objects don't
so
come
you're
down.
saying the Earth is always going up.
That's the thing. I don't know if you know the tides, the high tide and low tide of the ocean.
Yeah.
Man, she
That
stands
tides,
out.
the tides, in my opinion, show that the Earth is not moving in a straight line because the tides show that the water is kind of deviating a bit.
So
The tides,
is the
you know?
Earth?
So the Earth is not
Wait,
moving
let
in
me
a
tell you
straight
something
line.
about the-
It's in some kind of cycle.
Let me tell you
if
something
ask
about
me.
the
Moving in
sea.
some kind of cycle.
Let me tell you something about the sea.
Wouldn't that change?
Wait,
how,
hold on,
wait,
now
hold
you're
on.
he's having a
Wouldn't that change how things go? Wouldn't that
How they
change
fall straight?
How they either fall straight,
Yeah, yeah.
to the
So
side,
this-
or
yeah.
the speed.
Yeah, the speed determines our weight.
But we know that if we're in a vacuum chamber,
Yeah.
things are going to fall at the exact same.
Yeah, but that's because they're not falling.
No, but they're always going to do that. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
you want to
matter
know
what
why?
time of the year.
You want to know why?
Why?
And it only happens when there's no air, by the way, in the vacuum chamber, like you said. And that happens because, again, that actually debunks that they accelerate down because this magical force, gravity, for example, will have to pull a feather and a bowling ball at the same rate, meaning it has to apply like 100 times more force to the bowling ball
That's what
than
I
the
wanted to
feather to accelerate them at the same rate, which doesn't
This
exist.
is going to explain this. This is going to explain this. Check this out. This is you, and this is the water, the sea.
Oh, the sea, okay.
Listen, man.
Wait,
I'm going to show you why.
I heard everything you had to
No,
say
you
for-
don't. No, you don't. Look,
Heard everything.
this is a person,
Yeah.
and this is the sea.
Okay.
The same pressure, the same amount of pressure per pounds, per whatever, to hold the tons of water down as far as gravity would crush any human being.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing. Here's something to understand real quick.
Unless gravity has a mind of its own.
No, unless you're the pressure. Unless this is the pressure, not the Earth.
Look, real quick, when you have a bottle like this,
Unless they
it could be a
depend on
car,
that,
for
no?
example, too. If you were to accelerate this container or a car that way in one direction, what's going to happen? It's
You're
going to feel
watching
like
it right
you're
now.
being pulled back into your seat, right? It feels like there's something pushing you back against your seat when you accelerate front, right? That's what's happening with water. The reason why the water is being pressed down is because it's being pressed up, and then it gives the effect that you're being pressed back down.
They're,
It's
watching
the equal
the-
and opposite effect, basically.
So we are moving then. The world
Yeah,
would have to move.
the Earth is moving, yes. And that's what gives us the illusion of things falling.
So are we
The
free
Earth
falling?
is watching us right now.
That's the thing, because the Earth is in constant motion and we're within the Earth. I don't know what the Earth is attached to. It could be attached to some kind of track, I think
So
so.
would you say that the moon landing was fake?
Yeah. Yeah, all of that are just, I would call it NASA and any space
What is your
agency.
name?
Disney for
So
adults.
shouldn't we
What is your
find
name?
something?
My
to
name's
get-
William. It's on the flyer.
Shouldn't we find something to get
Ruben.
out of here?
Nice to meet
We
you.
can. We're contained. This is a creation.
We can't
So it's like
find something to get out of
this
here?
is like a
Glass.
terrarium. They say the Bible talks about a glass dome. Not glass, but it uses a different word, like a firmament.
That's how you can see the rainbow when it rains. Because it's
This-
reflecting off of the glass.
It's more of a possibility that above us is more water than outer
Yeah,
space.
There is more water.
That's more of a
That's what it
possibility.
is.
I don't know. Again, I don't like
That's
to make
why
claims. I don't
the Bible
know.
talks about the waters from above and the water from
Yeah,
beneath.
yeah. But if I'm being honest, I don't know.
No, you don't know.
But that makes more sense than the idea of outer space, negative pressure next to Earth without a container. You know, that defies physics. You know, so the
Dome.
ball Earth defies physics,
The
basically.
dome.
Yeah.
You guys heard of the dome? You know, on some cartoons try to dumb it down. And, oh, the dome.
Okay, it looks like the chat's fine right now. Because last time, like I
Are
said,
we
they
chatting
hacked
right
it.
now or what?
Yeah, this one's people are. You guys should check it out. It's fun when you guys leave.
Oh, damn, you're recording us, bro?
I'm recording myself. Yeah, you guys don't have to come on.
You're recording yourself. You come
Yeah,
out,
get over there.
They're gonna see you.
I thought you didn't want to be on video. Nah, it's
This
fine.
is my hand. I can't
Right.
right.
I mean, you guys have any other questions?
They already got me, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I studied that for like 5 years.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I
Okay.
promise you they got me. They got me so good.
I'm convinced. They
Yeah.
got me good.
You got
They,
you.
they brainwash people into accusing me of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. All right.
These people, man.
No, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Next, watch out.
You never know, man.
You know it's true. You know,
I mean, there are people that speak out, for example, against the government. I don't know if you guys, I mean, JF Kennedy. Have you heard? You guys heard his last speech?
Yeah.
You guys should hear his last speech he ever did, and it will make sense why they removed him. Now, did he get murdered? I don't know, but they removed him for sure, obviously,
you
because
should see the part where the next president comes in. What's the next step after the appointed president?
Yeah.
Where they take him into a room and tell him,
Right.
"This video."
yeah,
They say it was him. They say it was him, but look at the real one.
yeah, he was kind of subliminally exposing space exploration, kind of, in his last speech. He was
Everybody.
talking about all the secrets in government, how it's being kept from the people, and all that. Just to summarize what he said, basically, he was basically, huh?
You think she's going?
I think everybody's been. I've been brainwashed too.
Yeah.
You never know. The only way to not be brainwashed is to not accept any beliefs. Okay, so I don't have any beliefs. It's either I know something or I don't. And I know the Earth is not a ball. And I don't know the exact dimensions or the shape of the
That's
Earth.
the answer right there. I
But
don't know.
the surface, what we live on, for sure, it's a cross. It's a cross plane. You know.
So
It's a level plane.
the answer is I don't know that it's round, and I don't know that it's flat.
Well, I do know it's
So if
level.
we had
I don't know
a
what is it outside of it.
If we had
you
a
know?
telescope powerful enough, then we could see like China, right?
Yeah, theoretically.
If we made like a hole
Theoretically,
through all the-
but we will have to suck the whole atmosphere from the Earth as well, because the atmosphere creates layers of basically thickness of
But what
fog,
they're gonna give you,
and you won't be able to
is-
see even
they're
if you have a
gonna-
strong
you know how
telescope.
They're gonna give you the excuse of it being a reflection.
Is that
And then
atmosphere-
refraction too,
Is that-
light bends after a certain distance.
Is that,
so there's a lot of things that will prevent us from seeing far, but theoretically we should be
Is
able
it
to,
far
if
enough?
there was no air and we had an infinite zoom camera.
Is it far enough to
experiment with that actually.
Yeah, I could have said they made
They
like
made
a
an
little
experiment.
Chicago.
They made the circle experiment where, like, after a certain amount of yards, I forgot how many meters it was, but they wanted to see if they'd show any, like they'd still be able to see the circle after a certain amount of distance.
They
But they couldn't.
No, they can't.
They couldn't see it though in that
If
experiment.
they can't see it, it's because of the it's not clear. The air's not clear.
Are you
It
talking
wasn't
about a
even
laser
that.
experiment?
I don't remember
Or was it just like
specifically.
a
It was
side,
it
a
was
line of sight?
It was. I watched a long time ago,
Yeah.
but it was an experiment where they had like
Yeah.
a hole.
So
They made like two holes, like really far.
yeah, I know.
Theoretically, you should
Yeah,
be able
a
to
line
see
of
from-
sight. Yeah. So the reason why I'm out here too is, again, a lot of mainstream talks about visual experiments, looking at stuff at distance, or laser experiments, and I would say all of those are inconclusive. You're not going to come to a concrete answer because of the, again, refraction and light and atmosphere. But if we did a physical measurement like this, where we build a level structure over a lake that was miles across,
I thought they did
we
that.
should be able to physically measure this water
I could've sworn
bending
they-
at
they
8
did
inches per
50
mile
meters.
square.
And the guys that build these structures, they don't apply the curvature.
All the blueprints from construction,
yeah.
exactly, don't take account for
They don't-
curvature.
they-
They all
Like that
assume, even
experiment, I'm pretty
airplanes
sure
don't
they did it in
assume
the
the Earth
air.
is a level plane.
I'm pretty
That
sure they
doesn't
did that
rotate, by the way.
experiment
The
in
Earth
So
doesn't rotate.
it's supposed to go down.
the air. It's not that hard.
8 inches
11
per mile
feet in
square.
3 miles?
Yeah, 6 feet in 3 miles. So if we start at 5 feet,
But
the
we can
gap-
see this, right? We can see 3 miles apart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3 miles. There's lakes that are
You're
over
bare
20
eyes.
miles across. In 20 miles,
Wait,
there should
hold on.
be
Don't the-
266 feet.
When the boat goes far,
Yeah.
You'll still see it.
You begin not to see it.
No, no,
It
no,
goes
no.
If
No,
you
no,
zoom
no.
in on it, you'll see it. You can't
So-
see it because of the atmosphere.
So
it disappears.
these
because of
train tracks, when we observe train tracks like this, are they coming together physically, or
There's a point.
Exactly. So we
across
have a
where they
vanishing
disappear.
point. We have
Yeah,
a
there's a
limit to
point of-
perspective.
yeah.
So the reason why boats disappear is because they go out of our sight. Basically, we're
But
not
we can see
Superman.
with the camera.
But then with the camera, if you zoom in, you'll bring it back into view. But then if it goes out of the view of the camera, because again, cameras have limited zoom.
But will it go down?
No.
No, it wouldn't go down. It would just be
You wouldn't
there.
be able to zoom in on it.
Yeah,
If it
once
goes down.
Yeah, if it goes down, you shouldn't be able to
The camera
zoom in on
can't
it.
do this.
Yeah, exactly.
It can only do this.
So yeah, everything we see,
What is the reason they give for that?
their reason is that that's the curvature. So they avoid these observations that you bring with stuff. They avoid it. That's the explanation.
What's the reason they give for the explanation that a camera can still see it?
They don't. They avoid it. That's
don't
my
give
point.
any-
Yeah, they don't.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's roll, guys.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
They have a
Look into
reason.
it.
I know they do.
Yeah, there's an explanation
I
for
don't know.
everything.
I'm asking you. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
Take it easy,
Yeah,
brother.
you too, man.
All right.
Thanks for talking, man. Yeah. So, man,
How's it going?
how's it going? You guys want to give it a shot?
Fuck
See if you guys trust your common sense?
Yeah, I'm working common sense every day.
There we go. No, that's good. So, two very easy questions about water and orientation. You guys know what orientation is, right? So I could have this bottle like this, I could have it in sideways, and I could have it upside down. That's 3 different orientations, right? Yeah. So a fun fact about water is that no matter what orientation the bottle is, water always goes down. You know, that's a fact. You know, water can never stick to it. That's obvious, right?
Yeah.
So the first question is, which one of these 2 images is upside down? Since we understand how water behaves.
This one's upside down. This one.
They're both right side up.
The image, which image is upside down? One image is actually upside down.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought because both of
I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see the water.
Yeah.
So,
Fool, it's that one.
There
It's
you
fucking
go.
orange. Yeah,
I thought it was a trick
so
question.
that one
It
goes,
a
is
fucking
actually
trick
like this.
question, fool.
It wasn't a trick question, but
Oh.
you guys got it. This one was the one upside down.
right,
That's how I
yeah.
took it.
Okay.
But
You gotta
yeah.
understand because the water's so
Yeah,
mud.
you're right.
Exactly.
You gotta think about the question too.
Yeah.
Which one's upside down?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
And the
water,
sponges there,
yeah,
too.
the water doesn't stick to the top. I took it like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
you guys
there
got
we
it.
go.
Easy.
Come on, every
Is
day.
There we go.
I'm,
There's gotta
I'm
be
in
another one.
I'm in maintenance property, so it's you're
Yeah.
always
Yeah, that's a
thinking
yeah, exactly.
what's next? What's next?
Yeah.
you know?
So
And a
another
lot
thing
of
about water, real quick. Water always finds its level.
Yeah.
You guys know that, right?
Right.
What's another word for level? Because I could deviate the bottle, but water's remains level, regardless. So what's another word for level?
like up and down plumb, or
I mean, plumb will be perpendicular to level. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's not
We will say horizontal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
actually the one-word definition because again, if you have a straight line that's on a slope, it's not level. It has to
Right.
be a horizontal straight line.
Yeah.
That's what level means. So since we understand that fact about water as well, that it always finds its level. This one's easier, by the way. Which one of these 2 represents level, A or B?
Which one's level?
When we're looking at the water. Hey, yeah. You agree? I mean, that's obvious, right?
Yeah, right,
So
right.
the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population, including myself and maybe you, have been tricked to believing this is what level means, even though we know it's this one. You guys want to know how we were tricked? Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball? Like a sphere in outer space, right?
Yeah.
So NASA in specific...
Somewhere,
obl-
it's not.
Oblate
full,
spheroid.
It's not fully. It's not.
They
fully
say a
circular.
flattened out ball,
Oh, okay.
oblate spheroid. That's what they say. But NASA in specific, they came to have satellites orbiting the Earth, so they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth if they're supposedly going around it. So they do tell us the radius is 3,959 miles, which gives us a circumference of 24,901.
That's how it makes out. That's how you make the
So
hour.
exactly. So the curvature rate should be 8 inches per mile square. So that means in the first mile there should be an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches, and by the third mile there should be 6 feet of curvature. And every mile it just keeps increasing. So if we went to a giant lake that was miles across to physically measure for this curvature, exactly it doesn't exist because water can't support itself. You know, water always collapses to form a horizontal plane. Water's not like Jello. You know,
You know, bodies of water, like they could be like.
they take the shape of a container.
Yeah, exactly.
But the surface is always level.
Yeah, like
So the
if a
oceans.
lake is deeper.
So the oceans are being contained by the continents. That's where the word container comes. I mean, that's where the word continent comes from, in my opinion. Container, because the continents are holding the water in, so they're at higher elevation. You know. So again, the water's not bending around the globe.
Yeah.
So if I was,
Of course, it's gonna be not. Well, when it's gonna look like when you're looking at a body of water, the
It looks
deepest
flat.
is gonna be in the center, right?
yeah.
it's
You're
gonna
talking
be
about
all
pressure, right? But I'm talking about the surface because if they're telling us we live on this ball, then the oceans have to be curving. The surface of water has to be bending to stick to the earth. But physics, water shows us that's impossible. You know, water doesn't bend. And you could go to any lake. When you go to the ocean, have you heard of the term sea level? Level being horizontal. You know what I'm saying? So if I was to ask you guys, what's the number one proof or reason, because there's no proof, that makes you believe that the earth is a ball? So check this out. I mean, you guys could be honest. What's the number one reason that convinces you? Pictures. Okay, pictures. What about you?
Probably just like how.
Gravity.
Because they
One at a time.
because before the Earth was always covered in water, so they.
Well, that's what they tell us. I don't go with stories. I actually don't know how the earth was created.
Because then it just like it shook up. It
You
shook
can kind of see
open.
it bend.
You're talking about so your ocean. Okay, so the ocean. Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, the horizon's the limit," or it's the curvature of the Earth, right? The reality is we have a limit to how far we can see.
Yeah.
And a simple experiment is if I hold an object in front of you and I move away, it's going to appear to get smaller and smaller and smaller until that the object's not getting small. We know that, you know. You know, but our vision has a limit. So the horizon is just the limit of perspective. It's the vanishing point of our vision. So when you elevate, you increase your angle of view, so you're able to see further in front of you. But if the Earth was truly bending and the horizon was the curve of the Earth, when we elevate, the horizon should never rise up with you. So here, I have a quick little illustration of what the horizon should look like when you're on a ball compared to a level plane. So this is what on a ball versus a level plane on the right. When you elevate, that's what it should look like. But if you go to like these are kind of like a video of the Earth. It's just 20 miles high without a GoPro lens, by the way, because GoPros curve horizons. So yeah, the Earth rises to eye level and there's no curvature left to right. So this is what the Earth actually looks like. This is as high as we can go, by the way. NASA, everything, all the rockets, they shoot up going a curve. Then they go into the Bermuda Triangle, which apparently nobody's allowed to go there, right? So the reason they do that is because the rockets come back down to the Earth. They come back down to the ocean. And the reason they created the Bermuda Triangle story so that nobody's there to record, you know, them actually, you know, going back down. So when they cut from the rocket to outer space, that's CGI. So that's when they do the cuts, you know. So it's just like a little movie that they show us when they shoot rockets out. Yeah. You know, astronauts are not really going to outer space because outer space is just a concept. I don't know if you knew that. And a concept is just an idea. So someone's imagination. So what's out there, out of the Earth, I don't know. But the idea of water space it defies physics as well, because in order to have two opposing pressure systems, for example, like a tire in your car with air, you need to have a completely sealed container. If you have a hole in that container, the air is just going to equilibrate. Yeah. That's the second law of thermodynamics, entropy. You know, there's always going to be entropy. So the fact that they claim outer space is a negative pressure system compared to Earth's vacuum, it's not completely negative, but compared to Earth's 14.7 psi, without a solid barrier, and the air's not rushing out into space, that defies physics. You know what I'm saying? So outer space doesn't exist as we're being told. You know, so the lights in the sky, a lot of people, well, what are the stars, right? So this is what the stars actually look like. They're just lights that twinkle, and it looks like they're in water. So this is a P900 camera, 83 times zoom. So it's optical zoom, by the way. It's not digital zoom, because I know digital zoom, you just zoom into pixels. This is optical, so it's through lenses, and you're able to bring them into focus. And then the planets are no different. They're just lights in the sky like the stars. I don't know if you knew, the planets used to be called wandering stars. That's where the word planet comes from, wandering stars. But there's just lights in the sky. Nobody really knows what they are, other than a map above us that we could use to navigate. Yeah. So I mean, any questions? I mean, I know it's a lot of information, you know, I'm sharing right here, but
nah, it's just fucking. It's an interesting fact
to come across.
So, yeah.
Yeah. How long do you guys hear about flat Earth? Because I know you guys heard of flat Earth, you know.
I always thought the Earth was round. I know.
So did
I never had a preconception of what it really was.
Okay, that's actually good. You're actually in a pretty good stance to be that way.
It was just like whatever.
Okay, fair enough. So here is the 6 main proofs that debunk the globe. You want one? Or
Nah, I'm cool.
You're cool? Okay.
Yeah, no,
but,
just talking to you was cool.
All right, no worries.
Yeah.
But this information is being censored, so if you go on Google or YouTube after you leave to try to look for some genuine information, you're going to get nothing but ridicule, misrepresentation, and basically just ignoring the main points, which is water, the horizon. You know, Euclidean plane geometry is a construction that's used to create everything you see, railroads, bridges. All the blueprints don't show curvature, basically. It's all planar, planar geometry. So bridges that are over 100, in China there's a bridge over 100 miles long. It doesn't have any curvature, or they don't account for any curvature, basically. You know, so again, all the blueprints, everything practical shows that the Earth is not a ball. Only stories will try to convince you that it's a globe.
For sure.
All right, man. Thanks for talking, man.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.